I think if you're watching this, you probably agreed somewhat that this is, you know, some people go to church to have their spiritual experiences. Some people also go to video stores. Hello, my name is Albert Birney. I'm a filmmaker living and working in Baltimore, Maryland, where we are now at Beyond Video. And two of the films I co-directed with Kentucker, Audley, our Strawberry Mansion, and Silvio, both available here at Beyond Video in the House Faves. And come check them out. Let's go on a little tour of the store. As I put these films back, make sure they're in the right spot, I have a new film, OBEX, which is an opening night film at the New Next Film Festival, which is happening here in Baltimore. It's the third annual, October 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Come on out. Oh gosh, where to begin? Local Hero by the great Scottish director, Bill Forsyth. If you haven't seen it, a really beautiful, funny movie. Years ago, I lived up in Rochester, New York. I worked at the George Eastman Museum, and we had a movie theater there. We brought Bill Forsyth to have a retrospective. We all went out for drinks afterwards, and it was one of those wonderful moments where I saw my dad and Bill Forsyth, you know, talking about music and just having a great night. He also watched an early cut of one of my first films and gave really great advice. And, you know, looking back, it's a little embarrassing. I was in my mid-20s, and he didn't need to watch it and give feedback, but he was a wonderful, wonderful, kind man. I just caught sight of it, so I'll show it. This is the movie that Bill Forsyth gave feedback on. This was my first feature film, The Beast Pageant. I'm a little embarrassed that's even up there, but if you're feeling adventurous and you want a little something different, I think it's best viewed on VHS. You know, some movies are best viewed a little bit out of focus, a little blurry, maybe some static and cutting in and out, which I'm sure this has. Here we are moving into the upstairs of the cathedral, up where the bells are, and into the director's room, which this is maybe perhaps the holiest place in Beyond, I would say, where you can really dig in to the collected works of some of the most brilliant filmmakers ever. What I'd like to highlight today is maybe my favorite John Carpenter, which, you know, how do you pick your favorite child? But Starman is the one maybe that I come back to the most because it's romantic and one of the most incredible scores ever by Jack Nitzsche. You know, when the music hits just right in a film and it just does that thing where you get goosebumps, this movie for me is a goosebump movie, Starman. About 5-6 years ago, I had an illness and I was in bed for a couple days, and I started putting on Coen Brothers movies. I put on A Serious Man, Inside Llewyn Davis, and No Country for Old Men. I watched these three in a day when I was in bed, and I'll tell you what, I felt a lot better at the end of that day. And I realized that the Coen brothers, when they're cooking, when they're really at the height of their powers, these films will heal you. All of these are beautiful, sacred objects and dreams that we can put on and get lost in. I would like to talk about Peter Weir, the great Australian film director. I would like to first talk about Witness. This film in particular has a scene where the Amish are raising a barn, and it's like the sun's going down, and the score, it just hits so hard, and I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. Sometimes I'll just put on, like, you know, the YouTube clip of that scene just to play it in the background a couple times in a row when you just kind of like need a hit of that good stuff. And the thing about Peter Weir, I realized that he is someone that made a flat-out brilliant film in 4 different decades, which I think is a pretty good run. You know, some directors have like a little 5-10 year run where it's like they couldn't miss, and then maybe they do some stinkers. But I think it's rare when you can get someone that has 4 decades, because Peter Weir, you've got Picnic at Hanging Rock in the 70s. Then in the 80s, we've got Witness, which I've already discussed. The 90s, let's go Truman Show. Oh my gosh. And then just when you think he was all washed up, in the 2000s, Master and Commander, Far Side of the World. Not bad, Peter Weir. Thank you for your service. I'm taking a knee for this one. The great Wim Wenders. One that I saw for the first time recently that I got to highlight here is Kings of the Road. Wenders films, a lot of them were shot by the great Robbie Mueller, and I think in black and white he really does something that's incredible. He just, the images are so beautiful and high contrast. As a little treat, if you're into this kind of thing, he poops on camera. Just a wonderful film. Go see this movie, not just for the poop, but for all the other things. Guess if we're talking about poop, we go right up here. Baltimore's John Waters' Pink Flamingos. What can you say about it that hasn't already been said? But as a 17-year-old, I was in a film class here and got to go to the set of Cecil B. Demented, which I had never been on a film set before. You know, here's like 7 of us students standing there, and John couldn't have been nicer, and definitely a formidable experience to see a real movie set. So thank you, John, for everything you've done and continue to do for this great city. Wendy and Lucy. So as I mentioned earlier, working at that movie theater up in Rochester, New York, I would often get to watch the movies as they came through, and Wendy and Lucy was one of those movies that played 3 times, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I watched it each time. I haven't seen this movie maybe since it came out that weekend, but I still remember every scene, every moment. As a dog owner now, I'm a little bit worried about rewatching it, just because it's a beautiful story, but it's heartbreaking. You gotta watch Kelly. I'd be remiss not to talk about my father, my dear father, David Lynch. He's at the top here. You have to look up to him. You pray to him. Look at him. He's still here. We still feel him. We still are inspired by him, and he has lessons that we will continue to learn for the rest of our life. Eraserhead, my God, my goodness. You watch this one if you're ready to be inspired, to go into a beautiful nightmare. That's the only way I can describe it. Real quick, I just wanted to, as we're passing by the Eastern European section, I wanted to look for Conspirators of Pleasure. This is the great Jan Švankmajer, Czechoslovakian filmmaker, surrealist, animator, but it says no subtitles because none needed. Film has no dialogue. And it truly doesn't. He's such a tactile filmmaker, and you can't go wrong with any Jan Švankmajer, but this is maybe one that if you're new to him, you could have a good time putting that on. This is why I love Beyond Video, because you get a film like Warlords of the Neon Moon, which this is super hard to find. I was in middle school. I went to school with a Hungarian. He was born in Hungary and moved to the States when he was 6 or 7. But he had all these strange tapes that I think his grandparents would send over. And Warlords of the Neon Moon is just one of those animations that you watch it and you're like, I can't believe that someone on planet Earth made this. I did track down a trailer on YouTube, so I know that it exists out there in the world. But I mean, this is the type of thing you have to come to Beyond to find. Thanks for coming around the store with me today, and I'm gonna take a couple home. I'm gonna rent The Great Moonstruck, which is another romantic comedy. Cher, Nicolas Cage, 1987. Recommend that. Microcosmos. This is a beautiful film about insects, and there is a great love scene between 2 snails that you'll never forget. E.T., of course, Steven Spielberg, 1982. What can you say about it? One of the all-time greats. And lastly, The Bear, which this will make you cry. This is about a little bear, and he's out in the woods. And all 4 of these movies with the moon cover, we love a full moon. As human beings, we love looking up at the moon. We love movies that put a moon on the cover. So I'm gonna take these home and watch me some movies tonight. And don't forget to come out to the New Next Film Festival, watch my new movie, OBEX. It'll be opening night film, October 2nd at the Charles Theater. And we'll see you next time.